Even in business situations, now there used to be a face-to-face meetings. Now they are all having online meetings. Now there used to be meetings and seminars and even speeches, and all have now converted to that. There used to be a new work from home norm has developed, which was also there in the pre-COVID scenario also, but now it has become the most common because there is no other means to interact with each other. Similarly, even if the supply chain has to be brought back again, production process has to be started. It has to be started according to norms fixed by the government or by the district administration. So, in the light of that, all the decisions, because now we are faced with a new scenario, and the problem is that the scenario has changed suddenly. Changing a scenario in 2 3 months' time is really a sudden change. Now, in the light of that, all the issues have to be discussed. How the new scenario affects our decision or requires a modification of our decisions, which we had taken, a well considered decision we had taken in the past. I think these are the main issues around which the seminar theme should move from the industry. We have eminent people, Sri Prakash Kharwarkar, she himself a industrialist and who has really built an entire company. She Sri Venkat Giriji is from CII. He knows the whole thing and how it has transformed things. I think the students and other participants will be greatly benefited by the discourse which is given by our two main keynote speakers. And I'm also looking forward to it. I will be joining that surely, continuously, almost. And thanks all of you for inviting me to this opening session or the inaugural session of this webinar. And I'm looking forward to follow it in the technical session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We wish to express our gratitude to you, sir, for being with us on this event. Your presence and gentle words are a source of encouragement for all of us. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Prior to move ahead with technical session, I would request Mr. Vinit Surana, Nodal Officer Procurement, State Project Implementation Unit, Uttar Pradesh, and co-coordinator of this webinar, to propose vote of thanks of this inaugural session.
Thank you very much, madam. Am I audible, madam?
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you very much, madam. On behalf of State Project Implementation Unit Uttar Pradesh, BIET Jhansi, and my own behalf, I would like to propose a hearty vote of thanks to our chief guest, Professor J.V. Vaishampayam, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Bundelkhand University, for delivering the address. Indeed, sir, the address that was given by you has truly motivated participants as well as the panelists who have been available with us. Thank you very much, sir, for this thought-provoking address. I would like to thank Professor V.K. Tyagi, Director BIET Jhansi, for delivering the inaugural address, and Dr. Anil Kumar, State Project Administrator, SPI Industries Limited, Kanpur, and Engineer K.S. Venkat Giriji, Executive Director, Confederation of Indian Industries, for their guidance that they shall be giving us during this webinar right after this technical session starts. I also appreciate the hard work of the BIET Jhansi team, especially Dr. Shahnaz Ayub Madam and Director Sir, and all the SPIU officials, Mr. V.K. Singh and Dr. Mahavir Singh Naruka and others who have been involved in the success of this webinar, directly or indirectly. I would like to convey my sincere thanks to Ministry of HRD, the World Bank, NPI officials for their contributions towards the success of this webinar. At last, I thank all the participants who are attending this webinar. Without their support, this webinar would not have been a success. And I once again thank all the participants for joining us. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Let me thank Mr. Vinit Surana for his wonderful and tireless cooperation to this webinar. Every great man, every successful man No matter what the field of endeavor, has known the magic that lies in these words. Every adversity has the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. A strong, successful man is not the victim of his environment. He creates favorable conditions. His own inherent force and energy compel things to turn out as he desires. Yes, Sri Prakash Ambadas Kharwadkar. 70 plus years old engineer P.A. Kharwadkar is not only a successful industrialist but is a great visionary who is engaged in making plans for bringing change in the existing social conditions. He holds a Bachelor of Technology degree in Chemical Engineering from Mumbai University. At this age, he is committed to evolve designs for the progress of the nation, re-establishment of moral and cultural values in the society, and in preparing youth for taking part in building of a strong empire for the prosperity and advancements of the country. Being in service, he attained the heights of his career and later he left the job and took up the business and achieved a big success. He is the managing director of Corona Plus Industries Limited. Corona Plus detergent company started with a local capital of rupees 6 lakhs, earned a name within 2.5 decades in the field of consumer goods, food, wood, and IT sector. It is these abilities that IIM Ahmedabad conducted a case study on his personality and successful venture. He believes if we use our energy and money for discharging our social responsibility, we would certainly be able to bring a change in the society. Kharwadkar sir has turned his belief into reality to a great extent. For his untiring efforts in becoming a successful entrepreneur and a dynamic social reformer, the government of Maharashtra felicitated him for Udyamika and Samajik Daitva in year 2000. I brought up in Mumbai, Maharashtra, feeling proud to share this just because Kharwadkar sir belongs to that place. The topic of this webinar best suits his personality. He will be speaking on decision-making skills in adverse situations, a leader's perspective. Over to you, sir. Kharwadkar sir, over to you, sir. Kharwadkar sir, over to you, sir. Sir, please unmute your mic. Kharwadkar sir, please unmute your mic. Kharwadkar sir, please unmute your mic. Could you listen me, sir? Sir, unmute your mic, sir.
1 minute. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
I thank you, Dr. Tyagi and Mr. Anil Kumar for organizing this good webinar to give us an opportunity to share our views on the important issues like COVID-19, coronavirus, and problems arising afterwards. Coronavirus and COVID-19 was almost an unexpected thing. Nobody expected this kind of virus is going to be developed and will create such great problems. But I must thank and compliment our Prime Minister and Chief Minister for successfully managing the issues and taking the appropriately right decision at right time, so that we see now that is a matter of time. This great problem will be over. Now, biggest problem today what we are facing or will be facing now, the fear what it has developed in the minds of the students, parents, and the working class, and all the housewives and everybody. The fear and uncertainty. What is going to happen? What is going to happen tomorrow? What is going to happen after a year? Everybody is concerned about it because the media has been so much highlighting that there is no availability of a vaccine. There is no availability of any right medicines and the process of that cure. So in this kind of situation is a very serious problem of a uncertainty and also of a fear developing. So first priority is the removal of the fear from the minds of people. But before that, why the fear has developed? Now let's look at this way. Now, why, I don't know why WHO declare this as a epidemic. Epidemic always creates fear because history shows there were two epidemics of the horror. In 14th century, plague or a black death has killed or people in that epidemic, almost 30% population of the world. That time population was only 48 crores. Out of that, almost 20 crores people died. So you can imagine what must have happened. Second was the epidemic, which is also caused a horror just 100 years before 1918, when Spanish flu will develop, and that virus of influenza H1N1 has also almost killed the 5 to 7.5 crores of people when population was 150 crores. So it was only 100 years before 150 crores. Now the population is like that, say 760 crores. Now what important is that now how we, because what happened in last 2.5 months, we have been telling our children, everybody not to go out, not to go out, not to go out, not to go out, not to go out. So everybody has been telling not to go out, not go out. Now the situation is going to change. This is a temporary phenomena. It is the example of the Spain, example of Italy, particularly Italy. If you take that, it has achieved a peak, and 3.5 months back. Now the issue is almost over. A 95% problem has been solved. The country is stabilizing that. We also in the 15 days time maybe stabilizing it to normalcy. So, but biggest problem will be to removal of the fear, because we have asked everybody to stay at home, stay at home. If you want to be safe, stay at home. Now we have to tell the people, go out, go out, go out. There is nothing to fear. And for that is going to be the problem. So we have to explain them there is no problem. And you can go outside and do your normal work and contribute to the nation's production, productivity, education, wherever you are engaged. Now, how this can be done? One is that, look at this, the population of the world is a 760 crores. How many people are died? It's just like around 4 lakhs. 4 lakhs people. It's a very insignificant. There's nothing to worry with the epidemics, what has happened. Let's take cases of India. India has a 36 crores, 135 crores population. How many people have died? Very 8,000 or some odd. Very insignificant. And UP is the best case. People population is 24 crores. And people are died very hardly about 400 people. So it's absolutely, we should ignore, we should tell now younger people population, you just ignore this problem. Problem is over. And now you start work. You go outside. There is no fear to worry. And look at this way. Whosoever have died, already number of people died is very insignificant. And number of, even those that died, who are the died? 50% of the people died are almost 25 years. And who had also some diseases of that, say heart attack or the asthma or something like that. So 50% out of 4 lakhs, that means 2 lakhs people have died like that. Now, that is a 75 years and onward. Now, 45 to 65, another 40% people have died. And below 45 years onward, and particularly in younger age, where we are concerned is the data of New York. Was shows that only 4.5% people, younger people were affected. China's data shows only 0.2%. China's data shows only younger people are affected 0.2% among the day. So that means for younger people, there is absolutely no problem. They just can go outside and work. So now this problem of fear has to be first removed. Now this problem will likely to cause a problem if we do not handle the situation properly. So everybody, whosoever is participating in this now today's webinar, has to tell to the students, there is no need to worry. You must share with their parents. Absolutely no worry. Send your student to the universities, colleges, hostels. Absolutely no worry. He is not going to die, and definitely not die. You can give a promise to that. Nothing is going to happen. Then the situation of the normalcy will start. Now, important is another issue has important. Now, this problem has also given the idea to particularly our Prime Minister. He is now talking of the Atmanirbhar Bharat. Atmanirbhar Bharat is going to be important issue. Now, Atmanirbhar Bharat, if it is going to be important, what is needed is all our education system has to be entrepreneur oriented. Today, almost 25% of our GDP, we are importing the things. And if we have to find out the import substitutes, we need entrepreneurs and large number of entrepreneurs. And problem is our country is known for not producing the entrepreneurs. And particularly UP is the worst scenario in the producing the entrepreneurs. So it is all orientation need to be changed. All our migration problem of that labors, migrant problem also has now created a big problem, at the same time an opportunity how UP encashes the migrant problems. Which is the time that UP boldly tell to the country that we have solved the problem of a law and order. There is not a single kidnapping. There is not a single ransom in last 3.5 years. So there is a stability. This country provides the largest market for the consumption because there are 26 crores consumers. I am talking in one language, one culture. There is a plenty of water. And now there are also labor available here. And this labor is not going to be easily now available in Maharashtra or Gujarat. These states which have progressed with the benefit of the labor from the UP, their all progress looks like that because of that UP labor. Now that this labor, if do not go by that one, their entrepreneurs, their industry will be forced to come to in UP. Now this is how our administration, how our chief minister, how our industries minister handles this issue now is going to be important. So that's why all is important is analyzing the data, finding out from the data what is important, what is not reliable. It is like a Vivek Buddhi se acha decision lena. Vivek Buddhi always be right is right and wrong is wrong. And tell positively, courageously what is wrong and what is right. Now this is going to be biggest opportunity for UP. Now today, luckily, number of people today are attending today's our webinar are having ideas, good knowledge, and also enlightened people, educational background. And with that one, they can make lot of effective, good decision making and also communicate to the government. Now, more important to me, I have found from my experience, our education system needs big reforms. My dear friends, in last 35 years as an entrepreneur, and before that as a successful, one of the highest paid professionals in the country, I have experienced that our education system needs a lot of reforms. And this is the time we think of the reforms of the system, particularly engineering and a technological institute. Let's talk about the reform. Now, reform, what is needed? Important for reform is that to explain you properly, I am going to take some mythological examples to explain need of the reform and how it is useful and how can in the present situation also very advantageous and can solve our country's biggest problem. Now, in the Bhagavad, in the Skanda 10th, in that there is one incidence of a dialogue between Vasudeva, father of Sri Krishna, and mother Devaki. Best way that I speak in the Hindi because you will understand and appreciate better. तो ये संवाद ऐसा है कि कृष्ण भगवान, कृष्ण जी ने, बाल कृष्ण अपन कहेंगे नंद किशोर कृष्ण, नंद किशोर कृष्ण ने कंस का वध किया है, कंस का वध किया है और ये महादुष्ट का वध किया है, एक राजा का वध किया है। तो पूरा समाज जो है कि उनको कह रहा था कि आप राजा बन जाइए, कृष्ण को कह रहा था आप राजा बन जाइए। काफी लोग उनको भगवान समझना शुरू किए थे, भाई कृष्ण भगवान है। ऐसे में जो है कि उनके पिताजी वसुदेव कहते हैं कि कृष्ण को हायर एजुकेशन के लिए, आगे पढ़ने के लिए इनको जो है संदीप ऋषि के आश्रम में भेजना है कि जहां जाके वो राज्य व्यवस्था शास्त्र और शस्त्रास्त्र शास्त्र का अभ्यास करेंगे। देवकी एक माँ होने के नाते और कृष्ण उसके पास नहीं था इतने वर्ष, वो चाहती है कि वो न जाए। वो कहती है कि वासुदेव जी को कि ये जो विषय है, ये विषय जो है राजमहल में भी सिखाए जा सकते हैं। राजमहल में भी अपन अच्छे से अच्छे आचार्य को बुला सकते हैं और ये आचार्य इनको सिखा सकते हैं। तो इनको जो है कि आश्रम में या गुरुकुल में भेजने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। जब वो समझाते हैं कि समझाते हैं कि देखो ऐसा है कि देवकी कि अगर कृष्ण जो है कि आचार्य से राजमहल में सीखेंगे तो कृष्ण की भावना उन टीचर्स के प्रत्यक्ष अलग होगी। आचार्य के पहले वो मन में आएंगे ये तो वेतनधारी कर्मचारी है, मेरा ही वेतन से, मेरे से वेतन ले रहा है, तो उनको कोई रिस्पेक्ट नहीं होगी। ऋषि के आश्रम में जाएंगे तो ऋषि को, गुरुमाई को ये रिस्पेक्ट देंगे, श्रद्धा देंगे और श्रद्धा के साथ में विद्या लेंगे। अब उन्होंने कहा ये सिर्फ विषयों का प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ये आश्रम ऐसे है, पर्टिकुलरली संदीपनी ऋषि का आश्रम है, यहाँ पे शिक्षा के साथ में प्रशिक्षण दिया जाता है, एजुकेशन सिस्टम में प्रशिक्षण दिया जाता है। इस आश्रम में ये सिखाया जाता है प्रशिक्षण के द्वारा कि संयम कैसा रहा जाता है, अनुशासन कैसा रह सकता है, आप कैसे सहनशीलता बढ़ सकती है। आप राजपुत्र हो या कोई हो, गुरुमाए उनको सबके साथ में 2 बजे ही खाने को देंगे। वो ये अपना राजपुत्र है करके कोई उसको प्रेफरेंस नहीं मिलेगा। वहां पे वो सिखाएंगे कि वो जो आश्रम में सिखाया जाता है कि उनको स्टूडेंट्स को कैसे करेजियस किया जा सकता है, इनमें धैर्य कैसा लगा, गुणों को जो है कि एक उनके आचरण में लाना चाहिए। और ये गुण अगर नहीं है तो मनुष्य के देश को कंट्रीब्यूशन करने के लिए, समाज के कंट्रीब्यूशन के इनएडिक्वेसी आती है। मैंने मेरे अनुभव से देखा है, कई लोग कहते हैं मैं वो काफी सक्सेसफुल है, लेकिन मुझे देखता लगता है ये स्टोरी पढ़ने के बाद में, अगर ये प्रशिक्षण मुझे मिलता था तो मैं कई अपॉर्चुनिटी जो खोया वो अपॉर्चुनिटी में इनकैश कर सकता था। मैंने कई मित्र और ज्यादा मित्र बनाए होते, क्योंकि मेरे पास संयम नहीं था, मेरे पास अनुशासन नहीं था, मेरे पास सहनशीलता बिल्कुल नहीं थी। तो ये सब जो चीजें हैं कि आज की जरूरत है कि विद्यालयों में पर्टिकुलरली इंजीनियरिंग को ये सिखाने की जरूरत है, इंस्टीट्यूट में सिखाने की जरूरत है। पार्ट ऑफ चाहिए। और दूसरी बात है, और लॉकडाउन में मैंने देखा कि ये 2.5 महीने में मुझे कोई भी कला नहीं आती है। मैं एक बहुत अच्छा इंजीनियर होगा, बहुत पैसे कमाया होगा, बहुत नाम कमाया होगा, लेकिन कला न आने के कारण मुझे लग रहा है कि मेरा जीवन संपन्न बिल्कुल नहीं था। मुझे कोई तकलीफ हो रही थी, कैसा समय चला जाए। तो अगर और ये आश्रम की व्यवस्था में 64 कला, संगीत से लेके नृत्य से लेके हर कला उसकी शिक्षा का भाग था। और ये शिक्षा मिलने के कारण जो है कि उनका जीवन संपन्न रहा। कृष्ण जो है आगे का पूरा उनका जीवन देखेंगे, संपन्न रहा, तो उनके आश्रम का बहुत बड़ा कंट्रीब्यूशन है। संदीपनी के ऋषि का आश्रम आज के IIT से भी ज्यादा प्रतिष्ठित उस समय पे था। अगर हम कंपैरिजन करते हैं कि हमारे एस्पिरेशन, हर हम कहते हैं कि मुझे IIT जाना है, क्योंकि IIT को अपन 100% मार्क देते हैं, उसको सब में ज्यादा प्रतिष्ठा देके। लेकिन अपन कंपैरिजन करते, IIT में ये प्रशिक्षण दिया नहीं जाता, सिर्फ विषय सिखाए जाते हैं जो कहीं पे भी सिखाए जा सकते। और ये आज विषय के साथ में अगर ये दोनों चीजों का अगर प्रशिक्षण हमारे IIT में दिया जाएगा और इंस्टीट्यूट में दिया जाएगा सपोज, तो ये काफी परिवर्तन आएगा। हमारी दृष्टि, सोच काफी बदलाव आएगा। तो ये रिफॉर्म बहुत आवश्यक है कि हम जैसे तुम आप उदाहरण लीजिए, आपके इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस में ट्रेनिंग 2 साल की, 2 महीनों की कंपलसरी है, तो उसका कोई इज अ टोटल फेल्यूर, बिकॉज उतने विद्यार्थी पढ़ रहे हैं, उतने अपॉर्चुनिटी देख लिए कारखाने नहीं है, और कारखानदार जो इसको सीरियसली अपनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं लेते, तो झूठे सर्टिफिकेट बन रहे हैं, झूठे सब बन रहा है, तो इज टोटल फ्लॉप। सो व्हाट इज नीडेड is in the institution itself, the training it must be a part of, we call it a प्रशिक्षण। तो गुरुकुल में जो प्रशिक्षण था, वो प्रशिक्षण जो है समय आया है कि हमारे विद्या में इंक्लूड करने की आवश्यकता। तो ऐसे जो है ये अगर वासुदेव का वो डिसीजन जो है कि नहीं होता था, तो न जाने कृष्ण कौन होते थे, कैसे होते थे, गेस है। और अगर गवर्नमेंट डिसीजन लेती है और ये प्रशिक्षण दिया जाता है, तो हमारे वर्ल्ड के प्लेटफॉर्म में ये IIT स्टूडेंट्स एकदम अलग हो गए, MIT से अलग हो गए। MIT सिर्फ विषय सिखाता है, प्रशिक्षण नहीं देता है, ये गुणों को उनके आचरण में नहीं उतारता है, कला है उनको नहीं देता है। और ये अगर उनमें है तो लोग कहेंगे MIT नहीं चाहिए, IIT के, इंडिया के IIT के स्टूडेंट। तो ये रिफॉर्म, ये पहली आवश्यकता है। अगर आप लोगों को ये ठीक लगता है तो मैं आशा करता हूँ कि ये पहला रिफॉर्म जो मैं कह रहा हूँ, अब वो आप जो है कि रिकमेंड करेंगे। अब आते हैं आप दूसरा रिफॉर्म जो मेरे माइंड में है। अब जरा ये कथा थोड़ी सी आगे बढ़ रही है, वही कथा है भागवत सुदामा की कथा है। सुदामा और कृष्ण संदीपनी के आश्रम में साथ साथ पढ़े हैं, बराबरी के नाते से पढ़े हैं, एक दूसरे के बहुत बड़े मित्र हैं। उसके साथ में एक विद्यार्थी था, वो वैश्य समाज का था, जिसका नाम धनीराम था। धनीराम जो है वैश्य समाज का था, उसका अर्थशास्त्र विषय था। ये जो है सुदामा अग्निहोत्री ब्राह्मण थे, तो उन्होंने दर्शन शास्त्र का विषय लिया था, और कृष्ण ने राज्य शास्त्र का विषय लिया था, वो राजपूत थे। तो उनकी शिक्षा होने के बाद वो अपने गांव चले गए, परंपरागत उन्होंने एजुकेशन ले लिया और अपना जो कार्य आगे चला। अपना सुदामा ने अपने ग्रंथ लिखना शुरू कर दिया और दर्शन शास्त्र का अभ्यास शुरू हुआ। 25 साल गुजर गए, 25 साल गुजर गए हैं। अब जो है कि 25 साल के बाद में एकाएक धनीराम जो है कि सुदामा के गांव आता है और इस समय पे व्यापार करने के लिए आता है। वो निश्चय करता हूं कि मैं इस वर्ष टाइम में कोई जरूर मिलूंगा। सुदामा उसको दिखते ही उसको अच्छा लगता है कि दूसरे साथ मेरा मित्र आया है। मित्र आया, खुश होता जो है वो सक्सेसफुल व्यापारी है। धनीराम पूरे उसके घर को देखता है, पूरी दृष्टि से देखता है, उसने ऑब्जर्व करता है, अरे ये तो बहुत बड़ी बात है, ये तो बहुत सिचुएशन खराब दिख रही है।
उन्हीं के यहाँ से है। हाँ।
इंटरनेट कनेक्टिविटी में भी
I think Kharwarkar sir's connection got disconnected.
me.
Yeah, he joined. Yes.
सुन रही कि नहीं? सुनने आ रहा है क्या?
अब आ रहा है सर। बीच में कनेक्टिविटी चली गई थी तो कुछ पार्ट मिस हो गया।
तो कहाँ तक है?
हम
करूँ कि छोड़?
धनीराम जी सुदामा जी के घर जाते देखते हैं कि ये तो बहुत गरीब है, यहाँ तक आए थे।
हाँ, तो बहुत पहले मैं आपको पूछ लूँ, आपको इंटरेस्टिंग लग रहा है?
जी सर।
ओके,
वंडरफुल, एक्सीलेंट।
हाँ, धनीराम पूछता है, मित्र तुमने तो धन ही नहीं कमाया दिखता है, मित्र तुमने धन ही नहीं कमाया है। सुदामा उसको जरा उसका जो है कि अच्छा प्रश्न नहीं लगता है, और धनीराम को कहता है, मित्र तुम आप क्या पूछ रहे हो? मैं दर्शन शास्त्र का विद्यार्थी हूँ, आपने मुझे पूछना चाहिए था दर्शन शास्त्र में आपने कितने ग्रंथ लिखे, कौन से ग्रंथ लिखे, कौन से ग्रंथों को सम्मान मिला। इसके बदले में आप मुझे पूछ रहे हो धन कितना कमाया। धन कमाना मेरा व्यवसाय ही नहीं था। जैसे हम भी सोच ले, धन कमाना हमारा व्यवसाय नहीं है, धन कमाना हमारा व्यवसाय नहीं है। इसलिए जो जवाब दिया है इसमें है, तो वो जो है कि जिस तरह से सुदामा ने जवाब दिया, धन कमाना हमारा व्यवसाय है, ये मेरा व्यवसाय था, मेरा अभ्यास चालू रखने का दर्शन शास्त्र का, उस पर ग्रंथ लिखने का, और वो मैं अच्छी तरह से करने रहा हूँ। लेकिन वो धनीराम जो है कि छोड़ने वाला नहीं था, वो व्यापारी था। तो उसने फिर से कहा कि देखो सुदामा, आपने गृहस्थाश्रम लिया है, आपने विवाह किया है, आपकी जिम्मेवारी है आपके पत्नी के प्रति। आपने के हेलो कैन यू हियर?
यस सर।
हाँ, तो आपकी जो है कि जिम्मेवारी है कि आपके पत्नी को बच्चों की अच्छी तरह से सुविधाएं मिले, और वो सुविधा तुम नहीं दे पा रहे हो ऐसा मुझे लग रहा है। चलो मैं जो पूछ लेता हूँ भाभी जी को ही, और सुशीला नाम की उनकी जो पत्नी है उनको जाके वो पूछते हैं, क्या भाभी जी आपके पति ने धन कमाया नहीं है तो क्या आप सुखी है, क्या आप सुखी है? तो वो कहती है, भैया हम सुखी है, हम सुखी है क्योंकि मैं जानती थी ये है संदीपनी ऋषि के आश्रम के विद्यार्थी है, इनका काम होगा कि वो जो उनका जो स्वधर्म है, स्वधर्म के अनुसार वो अपना जो है कि व्यवसाय आगे करेंगे, दर्शन शास्त्र के अच्छे से अच्छे ग्रंथ लिखेंगे और ये ग्रंथों को एक अच्छी रिकॉग्निशन मिलेंगी, तो मैं संतुष्ट हूँ जो उन्होंने किया। तो वो संतुष्ट हूँ। और वो आगे कल के कहती है, ये डायलॉग आपको फिर से मैं 2 बार रिपीट करके बोलने वाला हूँ। वो कहती है, भैया कि सुन लीजिए कि हमारी जरूरतें बहुत कम है और जिसको आप गरीबी कह रहे वो हम गरीब नहीं है, हमारी जरूरतें कम है। जरूरतें कम होने के कारण हम गरीब लगते हैं, यानी हम गरीब नहीं है, हम तो हमारी भाषा में हम सुखी है, रीच है। और मित्रों, मैंने ये जो कथा का भाग कई विद्वानों से शेयर किया था कि आपकी क्या राय है। तो हर एक जन ने कहा धन्य है वो सुदामा कि उसने हमारे को जागृत कर दिया कि हमने क्या प्रश्न पूछने चाहिए, कैसे प्रश्न पूछने चाहिए। हमने प्रश्न पूछना चाहिए न्यायाधीश को ये प्रश्न पूछना चाहिए था, कितने गुनहगारों को तुमने जो है कि सजा दिए, कारागृह में डाला है। ये कोई पूछता नहीं। हम डॉक्टर को पूछना चाहिए कि कितने आपने रोगियों को निरोगी किया, ये संख्या में आप बताइए। हम नहीं पूछते। हम जो है कि प्रोफेसर टेक्निकल एजुकेशन के लोगों को पूछते नहीं है, कितने लोगों को आपने जो सुसंस्कृत नागरिक बनाया। हम त्यागी जी को पूछते नहीं है कि आपने इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट को आपने जॉब ले जाने के लिए या जो है कि एंटरप्रेन्योर बनाने के लिए काबिल क्यों नहीं बनाया, आपने क्यों काबिल नहीं बनाया। सिर्फ हम ये पूछते हैं कि न्यायाधीश की कमाई क्या है, कितना धन कमाया। हम पूछते हैं प्रोफेसर को कितनी कमाई है, इसलिए कि ये प्रश्न के कारण वो पढ़ाने की जगह पे ट्यूशन लेना शुरू कर देते हैं। हम पूछते हैं डॉक्टर को कितने रोगी की जगह निरोगी किए, उसके बदले में पूछते हैं आपने जो है कि कितनी कमाई है। हर जगह पे हमारा आज प्रतिष्ठा का मेजर इन टर्म्स ऑफ मनी है, धन है। धन को हमने बहुत प्रायोरिटी दी है। Everything is measured in terms of money, and this is the main problem of our today corruption. Today, if you analyze it, why the corruption is there? If we had the people like Sudama, and the questions you remember कि भाई धन कमाना मेरा व्यवसाय ही नहीं है, तो हम क्यों पूछे। और धन कमाना ये पूछने के कारण लोग जो है कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा लालची बनते जा रहे हैं और ज्यादा से ज्यादा करप्शन बढ़ते रहे। उसमें से विद्वानों में कई औरतें थी, कई जो उसमें से कुछ लेडीज ने कहा हमने ये हम करते हैं, हम हमारे हस्बैंड को पूछते अपने पास 2 गाड़ियां है, हम 4 गाड़ियां नहीं कर लेते। हमारे बच्चों को जो है कि अमेरिका को पढ़ने भेजना है, बेटी को जो है कि 5 लाख रुपया डाउरी देना है, तो उनको हम गलत काम करने लगाते हैं। इसलिए जो है कि अगर मैं सुदामा की पत्नी की तरह से सोचती थी कि अगर मेरी जो कमाई है, मेरे पति की जितने सैलरी मिलती है, उसी सैलरी में मैं अगर एडजस्ट कर देती थी, तो हमारी जो है कि समस्याएं नहीं होती। कंफर्ट्स एंड कन्वीनियंस के लिए जो अपन प्रायोरिटी देते हैं, वो अगर कम हो जाएगी तो ये इश्यू जो है इस तरह से जो अगर हम डील करते रहेंगे, तो हमारे करप्शन के प्रॉब्लम्स वगैरह काफी कम होंगे। और ऐसी टाइप की स्टोरियां जो हमारे अभ्यासक्रम की पार्ट बननी चाहिए। ऐसे हमें रिफॉर्म की जरूरत है, उसमें जो है कि रिफॉर्म्स की जरूरत है। और जैसे एक लास्ट मिनट में बोलते हैं कि कृष्ण जो है कि सुदामा जब कृष्ण के पास गए, तो एक इसके लिए गए थे कि उनके मन में था मैं एक अच्छा विद्यालय बनाऊं, मैं एक गुरुकुल स्थापन करूं। और गुरुकुल स्थापन करने के लिए उसने कृष्ण से मदद मांगी। तो कृष्ण ने गुरु उसको सुदामा को कहा कि सुदामा, क्या आप जो है कि मैं या तुम्हें कोई धन नहीं दे सकता हूँ, हमारी शिक्षा समिति है, शिक्षा समिति के समिति पे आपका प्रस्ताव रखिए, आपका प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट रखिए, और वो समिति ने अगर वो पास किया तो आपको धन मिलेगा। और उन्होंने कृष्ण का कहा कि मैं मित्र के नाते सिर्फ आपका जो प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट वहां तक पहुंचा सकता हूँ। और वो प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट वहां पे पहुंच गया, और वो समिति ने देखा कि उस क्षेत्र में कि ये गुरुकुल की आवश्यकता है, सुदामा एक कॉम्पिटेंट उसका आचार्य है, तो उसको दिया जा सकता है। तो तब जो है कि उसको जो है कि धन दिया। ऐसे ही धन दिया नहीं गया। जो आज की स्टोरी प्रचलित स्टोरी है, उसमें क्या बोला जाता है कि कृष्ण भगवान ने अपने मित्र को, वो निर्धन है, उसको जो है कि पूरा ऐश्वर्य दे दिया पूरा। तो ये अगर हमारी कृष्ण की सोच है, वो कृष्ण की सोच के लिए हमें जो भी आजकल के जो हमें मिनिस्टर्स मिल रहे हैं, क्योंकि वो नेता था, राजपुरुष था। आज हमारी पहली बहुत बड़ी रिफॉर्म की जरूरत है। आज मैंने जो है कि हम लोगों ने एक हमारे मंडल की तरफ से उत्तर प्रदेश और ये जो पार्टी रूलिंग में है, हमने एक प्रस्ताव से भेजा था कि हायर एजुकेशन का इतनी समस्या प्रदेश में है, तो आप एक कॉम्पिटेंट, एक अच्छे एजुकेशनलिस्ट को, जिसको एजुकेशन का अनुभव है और उसके पास जो है कि एक अच्छे विचार है, और वो जो है कि उसकी वानप्रस्थाश्रम की सोच है, यानी पैसा कमाने की सोच नहीं, ऐसे व्यक्ति को क्यों आप शिक्षण मंत्री नहीं बनाए? आपने जो है 7th पास और 8th पास आने वाले ऐसे एमएलए को क्यों आप शिक्षा मंत्री बना रहे हो? तो उसमें जवाब क्या आया मित्रों, कि उन्होंने कहा कि कर्नाटका में गए इसमें तो जो शिक्षा मंत्री थे उनको तो सिर्फ लिखना भी नहीं आता था, सिर्फ मजबूरी से नाम लिखते थे। ऐसे लोग हमारे शिक्षा मंत्री। तो हमें अगर रिफॉर्म की जरूरत है, हमें जरूरत है, आप सब लोग हम सब मिलकर रहे, सब जाके मिले, कौन सी भी पार्टी हो, कि भाई शिक्षा मंत्री कॉम्पिटेंट आदमी दो। अगर शिक्षा में हम जो दुर्लक्ष्य कर रहे हैं, सरकार हर समय पे दुर्लक्ष्य कर रही है शिक्षा की तरफ, और शिक्षा को दुर्लक्ष्य अगर करते रहेंगे तो कोई समस्या का हल नहीं निकलेगा। आत्मनिर्भर भारत सिर्फ शिक्षा पद्धति पे अवलंबित रहेगा। आत्मनिर्भर भारत कैसे हम स्टूडेंट्स निर्माण करते हैं, इस पर रहेगा। तो मित्रों, ये डिसीजन मेकिंग लेनी है, ये डिसीजन मेकिंग अपने को करनी है। तो ये डिसीजन मेकिंग में आप मेरे साथ में आपकी डिसीजन मेकिंग शेयर करेंगे। और एक बात, ये जो कैसी शिक्षा पद्धति होनी चाहिए, ऐसे स्टोरी के माध्यम से मैं एक फिल्म बना रहा हूँ जो अगले महीने में शूट हो रही है, वो मैं आपसे शेयर करूंगा। ये सब इश्यू हम लोगों ने आपके सामने रखे हैं, क्योंकि हम चाहते हैं हर व्यक्ति के पास ये जाएगी फिल्म। मैं उनको भेजूंगा, जितने भी मिनिस्टर्स है, जितने भी एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर है, कितने भी करप्ट IAS है, कितने भी करप्ट इंजीनियर्स है, उनको भेजूंगा कि इसके ऊपर आप थोड़ा सा सोचिए, क्या हम जो कर रहे हैं क्या राइट कर रहे हैं। अपने जो आत्मनिर्भर भारत होना है, हमारा सपनों का भारत बनना है, तो ये शिक्षा पद्धति में ये रिफॉर्म और ये सोच बदलाव की बहुत बड़ी आवश्यकता है। धन्यवाद। फिर से मैं त्यागी जी को एक धन्यवाद देता हूँ, अनिल कुमार जी को धन्यवाद देता हूँ, और वैशम पायन जी तो हर समय पे हमारे बड़े मोटिवेटर रहे हैं और मुझे हर समय पे काफी ये एनकरेजमेंट देते रहते हैं। मेरे विचार कई बार लोगों को नहीं पसंद आते होंगे, लेकिन तो भी वैशम पायन जी हर समय पे एक राइट सेंस में लेते हुए उसको जो है एक्सेप्ट करते हैं। तो उनके साथ में भी आज विचार शेयर करने की अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली। धन्यवाद, धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir. We are speechless, sir. I need to multiply thank you word 1,000 times to match it with your efforts, sir. I wholeheartedly thank you for your inspiring and encouraging words. The way you have described with mythological examples is truly the need of an hour. We should have such type of education system, and we have noted down it. We will definitely put forward it to the government. Thank you very much, sir. Swami Vivekananda said, take up one idea, make that one idea your life, think of it, dream of it, live on that idea. Let the brain, muscles, nerves, every part of your body be full of that idea, and just leave every other idea alone. This is the way to success. Yes, we have such a successful leader, Engineer K.S. Venkatagiri, with us today. Engineer K.S. Venkatagiri is the Executive Director of Confederation of Indian Industry, CII, Sohrabji Godrej Green Business Center in Hyderabad. CII is 125 years old confederation established in 1895. CII Godrej Green Business Center is CII's Center of Excellence on green practices and businesses, offering world-class advisory services on conservation of natural resources. Engineer Venkatagiri is leading a team of over 90 professionals who are offering advisory services to Indian industry in areas of energy management, green buildings, green companies, green products, renewable energy, and other related sectors. Venkatagiri sir holds a Bachelor of Technology degree in Chemical Engineering from Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. After an initial stint of 6 years in cement industry, he joined CII in 1993. We are honored to listen to your insightful speech to motivate this galaxy of intellectuals, sir. Sir will talk on 6 thinking hats, effective decision-making tools during and beyond COVID-19. Over to you, sir. Giri, sir, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Shahnaz. It's about 11:50 now. How much time do I have?
Sir, whatever time has been allotted to you, you please go with that. Yes, sir.
You know, once Abraham Lincoln was speaking at an evening function, and he said, "How long can I speak?" They said, "You can speak for any amount of time, but we all leave at 7 p.m. for dinner." So I thought that being a webinar, we don't even know how many people are listening to us. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity, Professor Vaishampayan, Vice Chancellor of Bundelkhand University, Shri Tyagi Saab, Dr. Anil Kumar, Mr. Vinit Surana, my fellow panelist, Mr. Karwadkar, Dr. Srivastav, and Dr. Shahnaz. It's my pleasure and privilege to be with you all and share whatever thoughts we have on effective decision making. Professor Vaishampayan and Dr. Karwadkar took it to a different level, intellectually a different level, speaking about philosophy from the examples from Itihas and epics. I would like to take it more at the ground level in terms of what has been done in the recent times. I have a presentation to make, and I will use this presentation. Are you able to see the presentation, please?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to see the presentation? Yeah, just a minute. I'll also share computer. Okay. This is, I'll take about maybe about 20-25 minutes to talk about this presentation. Then probably we can have some question and answers on how to take it forward. Basically, this is a presentation based on a book written by Edward de Bono called 6 Thinking Hats. I read this book personally. I read this book in the year 2000. And since then, I have been practicing 6 Thinking Hats in many of the meetings, both within CII and also discussions in my own family discussions. I found this to be extremely useful. So I have been talking about it with the wider public and the industry and academia wherever possible. It has been an extremely powerful technique. This 6 Thinking Hats technique has been extremely powerful and also been very successful. Global organizations such as ABB have reduced meeting time substantially by applying this methodology. Senior civil servants have been improving their productivity substantially by using this technique. Name many large organizations in the world. They have been using it, they are using it, they will continue to use it. And one beauty about this methodology of 6 Thinking Hats has been that it can be applied at a very high level of academicians or researchers down to school kids. I particularly had an example of using it with some of the school children, my own children, and it has been extremely useful and also facilitated very easy discussions and decision making, even with children. So it's a very, very powerful technique. Having said that, what are the fundamental principles of this methodology of 6 thinking hats? Just imagine a beautiful house located in Jhansi, very artistically constructed. Imagine 4 people going on 4 different sides of the house, coming back and describing the way the house looks. Somebody who looks at it from the front side, he has a different view. Somebody who looks at it from the side, he has got a different view. Somebody who looks at it from the back has a totally different view. And all of them are correct and all of them are different. So with the result, if all of them come together and start discussing about it, to come to a conclusion will be extremely difficult. On the other hand, if all of them are together, see the front of the house together, appreciate, understand, describe, then go to one side, then go to the back side and go to the other side, all of them together looking at the house from the same point of view, they identify points which the other person would not have identified. So all of them are looking at it from the same house, but they identify different points and complement each other. So this is the exact fundamental principle of 6 thinking hats. And with the results are, there are less number of arguments and more effective thinking. Fundamental principle on which the 6 thinking hats philosophy works. It's basically directional thinking, looking at it from the same point of view. The most important thing which I would been stressing about is that it doesn't categorize people. We categorize people saying, this fellow is highly emotional. He's highly logical. This guy is positive. Anything you give him, he comes out with positive ideas. This guy is pessimistic. So this type of categorization of people happens in every organization, whether it's an academic organization or it's an industry, anywhere. You label people as pessimistic, optimistic, negative, positive. He is rule bound. I will dwell upon it a little more. So this type of categorization gets avoided. It helps in the effective decision making. It avoids in this categorization. And thirdly, it's like playing a game. And this helps in, it's a powerful way to change a behavior. For example, I have seen people who are extremely cautious becoming optimistic over a period of time because they have been using this 6 thinking hats. I have seen people who are always jumping with positive ideas becoming a little more cautious over a period of time when they start working with this methodology of 6 thinking hats. It's a powerful way to change a behavior. It's also it's like playing a game and very useful with children and teenagers. I tell you about this, we would have definitely heard for effectively describing it, I wanted to present. There might be a person who would say, you always got something against every new project, a very negative person. That's how you describe him before you start a meeting. There might be a lady who is extremely emotional. Every meeting, she either walks out or she's always in tears. Very emotional person, very difficult to handle. Could be a description of one of the ladies who have been involved in any of the meetings. There is a person who knows everything. Any topic on the earth, he has got a view. It's just impossible to work with him. Could be another way. Somebody describes our boss is extremely cautious. With him in the lead, it will be very difficult to even move, leave alone achieve something. There are some people who always have got very innovative ideas. You say she builds castles in the air, very difficult to implement. So this is the way we describe many people, depending on the position they take in any of the meetings or discussions. This categorization gets avoided over a period of time if you start working with the 6 thinking hats for all your meetings and interactions. The other advantages of 6 thinking hats is that the knowledge and capability of everybody is utilized. It saves time, the ego gets removed, and also you do one thing at a time. It's extremely advantageous. For example, many of us have seen jugglers who juggle 5 balls. You ask a juggler, what does he do? He does only one thing. He concentrates on the ball which he is going to catch and then throws the ball back with the correct speed. Once that is done, he concentrates only on the next ball which is going to fall on his hand. So everybody who's a multitasker does one thing at a time. The 6 thinking hats facilitates that. Many times the decision is unanimous, faster and evolves by itself. And it also leads, most important, ladies and gentlemen, is that it leads to overall improvement of all members who participate in these discussions. There's definitely a development and improvement in the quality of people over a period of time. It facilitates easy decision making as well as it facilitates improvements in the quality of people. And it is all the more important now during the COVID scenario. Do you know why? During normal physical meeting, we see people. We see their physical reaction. We see their facial reaction. we see the way they respond. There are a lot of non-verbal communication which you are able to observe. With the COVID scenario, with the webinars and with web-based discussions and meeting, it's very, very difficult to know how people, what is it that's going on in the minds of people. Many times people avoid expressing themselves in such meetings. So it's very, very important and useful during the COVID and post-COVID scenario where there's less likelihood of people meeting each other. Having said that, what is this 6 thinking hats? What is this methodology about? 6 thinking hats is very simple. It means looking at every idea at a point from 6 different points of view. One is the white hat. If you wear a white hat, you only talk about facts and figures. The next one is the red hat, where if you wear a red hat or you do some red hat thinking or talking, you only talk about our emotional point of view. White is generally neutral, so you talk about facts and figures. So when you wear a red hat, you talk about all your emotional aspects. The next one is a black hat, where you talk about the caution. You have to talk about the weakness of the idea which is being discussed. Every idea has got a positive aspect. Every idea has got a weakness. Every idea in the world has got a weakness. This has to be looked into. So the black hat thinking facilitates that looking at it from the weakness point of view. The next one is the yellow hat. Positive thinking, optimism is what the yellow hat describes. The next one is the green hat. Green hat is looking at things innovatively. Looking at newer and innovative things is what you do when you wear a green hat. And the blue hat is the overall the process of the methodology of the 6 thinking hats. So you look at facts and figures with the white hat. You look at you talk with emotions when you wear the red hat. When you wear the black hat, you look at all the dangers which are lurking ahead. When you wear the yellow hat, you look at the optimism and positive thinking. And when you wear a green hat, you talk about the overall new ideas and innovations. And finally, the overall methodology of conducting a 6 thinking hat meeting is enabled with that of a blue hat. So the basic fundamental is every one of us in a meeting look at it only from one point of view. Either we all talk facts and figures, or we all talk with our emotions, or we all talk about the dangers or cautions which has to be taken. We all talk about optimistically about the positive aspects of the point being discussed. We all talk about innovatively the newer opportunities possible. And finally, the leader controls the entire meeting wearing a blue. Let me go into further expand with a few examples. When you wear a white hat, you talk only about pure facts. For example, you can say the number of people who have got first class in BIT is 64%, which is 10% more than 5 years average. Okay, it's only stating a fact. There is no emotion, there's no optimism, there's no pessimism, there's nothing innovative about it. It's just stating a plain fact that's appearing in it's like reading a news item. Our university has got A+ rating from the NAAC in 2018. So it's stating a plain fact. The next one, most important, is the red hat. It is exactly opposite of objective information. There's no logic or reason. Just feelings, hunches, beliefs. There's no justification required. When you want to express from a red hat point of view, nothing is required. The most important thing of red hat thinking and giving an opportunity for people to express emotion is that it legitimizes the feelings and emotions of people. Many a time when during a meeting, official meeting, when somebody talks from emotional point of view, we say he should not, he is losing sight of the facts. So here, when you have a methodology by which everybody is allowed to express their emotions and legitimizes the feelings and emotion, it creates enormous amount of freedom to the people. It makes the people free. So the red hat is one of the important hats which is to be used during the 6 thinking hats meeting. For example, you are talking about the way students behave. Some examples could be given. Students are the reason why a college exists. We have to value their opinion. If somebody says where you don't have a red hat thinking, you might think that if this professor is supporting the student. On the other hand, there's somebody else who says students walking out of the class en masse is a bad precedent. Needs severe punishment. This person might be thought to be from the point of view of management. You might, when you have decisions to be taken in awarding a contract, you may say, "Our contractor is hopeless and never delivers on time." These are pure emotional statements. So when you have 6 thinking hats and when you have everybody talking with 6 thinking on a red hat, these statements are legitimate. So this gives enormous freedom to the people to express their emotions. And once people express their emotion, they become free. And once they become free, the decision making becomes easier. And the emotions also bring more and more involved. Just for example, many of the decisions we take in life are emotional decisions. We get married based on emotions. We take up a job based on emotions. We vote for a party based on emotions, beyond the reason and logic. So emotional hat is extremely important. So the six thinking hats facilitates a person to wear a red hat and also express his viewpoint. The next one is black hat. This is extremely important. Whenever somebody gives an opinion which is against what is being talked about, we label him as a pessimist. We need to know the dangers which are lurking ahead so that we don't fall into that danger. So pointing out difficulties, caution about why something might go wrong, pointing out errors, these are extremely important. Because black hat is the one which makes us better prepared. If you know what is the difficulty which is going to be there ahead, we prepare ourselves better. So black hat thinking is extremely important. This also legitimates the people who come out with difficulties which are lurking ahead whenever you talk about a point from discussion. These could be some examples. For example, in your engineering college, you may say, building sector jobs will go down post-COVID. So we have to reduce student intake in civil engineering branch. This is a very, very powerful black hat statement. Okay, post-COVID, we may not get students from other states and countries. So movement is restricted. So this could be very a powerful statement, a black hat statement, but we should be prepared for it. So this makes us more and more prepared when we take up a decision. So we talked about white hat, we talked about red hat, we talked about the black hat. Now is the time for optimism. Yellow hat is talking it from the point of view of newer ideas, positive thinking. You might say post-COVID, it's a good time to create web-based education. For example, all of us would not have had the opportunity to meet through this. I have to travel all the way from Hyderabad to Jhansi. Professor Karwadkar had to come from another place to your place to present his viewpoint. Now, sitting in our own offices, our homes, we are able to reach out to a larger number of people. So this is a major opportunity. This is a way in which an yellow hat thinking comes out. If you think it is possible, many of us have heard this sentence. If you think it is possible, it definitely is. There could be some teachers from the side of industrial engineering or mathematics. Many of you would have heard about Professor Danzig from who is the one who developed the linear programming model. There is a very popular story about Danzig. Like all of your students, Danzig had the habit of going late to the class every day. So one day he went to the class so late that the class was over. And the teacher had the habit of writing the homework on the blackboard. So Danzig, when he went, he saw two problems which are listed on the blackboard. He thought it is going to be his homework. He noted them down. He went home. He tried working on it. It was a little difficult. After about 2 weeks, he solved it and then gave it to his professor. You know what happened on that day? The professor, while discussing, he wrote down 2 of the unsolved problems of mathematics in that class. And Danzig thought it is going to be homework. He thought it's definitely possible. So he solved it. This is supposed to be one of the very powerful examples in psychology and positive thinking. Even a movie called Good Will Hunting was taken based on this example of Danzig. So the point I'm trying to impress upon you, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you think positively, there is enormous opportunities exist. So yellow hat facilitates positive thinking. Yellow hat facilitates positive thinking, but innovation is the one which takes you one level higher. Creative thinking, coming out with newer opportunities, deliberately generating innovative ideas, many times we don't do. Maybe those ideas may not get fructified immediately, but over a period of time, innovative ideas can come and help you substantially. For example, virtual laboratories to expand our research resources. So there are many laboratories all over the world which are being connected virtually. For example, a research which is being done in one of the labs in Berkeley, the serum is being developed in a factory in Hyderabad, the R&D factory of one of the labs in Hyderabad. Such virtual laboratories we never thought was possible earlier. These all could be some of the innovative ideas which could be possible. Innovation is the one which leads to quantum jumps in anything we do. Then lastly, the overall methodology of conducting the meeting. That's the blue thinking hat. What do we do at the beginning? Explain the problem, and then defining the problem on what is it that we are going to discuss about in this 1 hour. What is the objective? What is the time frame? And then closing with decisions and action plan. So the blue hat does two things. One is what you describe the objective of the meeting, and at the end of the meeting, you also come out with what decisions and action plan we are going to take, which results out of the meeting. Having said that, we talked about 6 hats. Let me re-summarize. We had the white hat, which talked about facts and figures. We talked about the red hat, which talked about the emotions of the people. We talked about the black hat, which talks about the dangers which are lurking ahead. We talk about the yellow hat, which talks about the optimism and positive aspects of the point being discussed. The green hat, which talks about the innovations which are there. And lastly, the blue hat, which is the overall conducting of the meeting. Having said that, how do we go about conducting a meeting? You go through a preset sequence. You allocate, if you have a 1 hour meeting, Edward de Bono says you allocate 10 minutes each for each hat. Okay. Then you start with the facilitator saying, he says, this is what we will do right now. If he says, let us do some red hat thinking, all of us look at it from the point of view of emotions. Let us summarize with blue hat. Then we all think of what are the action plan and what is the results of the overall discussions. So the facilitator or the leader of the meeting, he says what hat we wear at what point of time. One more thing which Edward de Bono says, less time for expressing our emotions and feelings. For expressing our emotions, we don't need much time. Somebody touches us, we immediately react with our emotions. So for emotions, we need less time for expressing our emotions and feelings. Little more time for green hat. Green hat is one where we have to come out with creative ideas, innovative ideas. For that, we need slightly more time than other hats. So first, immediately when you have a meeting, you start with 6 thinking hats meeting. You start with the blue hat. The leader of the group says, this is what we are going to do in this meeting of 1 hour. Why this meeting? What is the objective of this meeting? What is the background of the meeting? And the sequence of the hats which are going to be used, that is decided and set by the facilitator. And then he also ends with the blue hat. You say, this is the objective of the meeting. This is what we are going to discuss. This is the sequence of use of hats. And then at the end, he summarizes with what has been achieved in the overall discussions and conclude and say, this is what we are going to do, what we are going to do next. This blue hat is extremely important. Many of, I'm giving more and more examples from the industry. Alfred Sloan is considered to be one of the top management experts of the US industry. He was the leader of General Motors for a very, very long time. And his extreme successfulness comes out of the way in which he used to conduct the meeting. And his memos which he issued at the end of every meeting were supposed to be a classic one for many people to follow. So blue hat is very, very important. So if you are a leader of a meeting, the way in which you describe the objectives of the meeting and the way in which you summarize the next action at the end, they are extremely, extremely important. Having said about the blue hat, what is it that you talk next? Next, you talk about the facts and figures, the background for people to work on. These are the number of people who have been affected by COVID. These are the number of people who have died. These are the number of people who are undergoing. These are the number of people who have recovered. Only facts, no, nothing else. Then we follow it up with a red hat. As I said earlier, you have described what is the problem, what is it that we are going to discuss. Then we have described the facts and figures associated with it. Then allow it for people to talk with red hat and emotions. As I said, when somebody talks with emotions, it generates involvement. Like Dr. Harwadkar said, ask our young people to go into the field. It talks about emotion. It talks about the involvement of the person with what is being talked about. And secondly, when you express your emotion, it also frees thinking. One very, very high level meeting of the highest level of people in the government, when they talked about before South Africa's first election after apartheid was removed, they said they used red hat for a lot of time so that people whosoever have their emotion, they all went it out. And when you vent out all your emotions, you become free and your mind becomes clear for clearer thinking. So we start with the blue hat, describing the objectives of the meeting. Then you allow people to talk with their red hat with all their emotions. And before that, you also talk about the facts and figures. So we have used 3 hats. Then once you use a red hat, now follow it up with a yellow hat. Yellow hat is positive thinking. Whenever you want people to think positively, give them little time. De Bono has got a beautiful point. He says, whenever you want people to think positively, positive idea doesn't come to us immediately. So he says, give a few minutes of time for people to think and then come out with positive ideas. Allow people to come out with positive ideas. After people come out with positive ideas, follow it up with a black hat. You know, people, all optimism has been expressed on the idea. So we also should know what are the difficulties ahead. So follow it up with a black hat. Black hat, when you all wear a black hat, you criticize, you caution, you talk about the difficulties, you talk about risks. And this is a very popular example which many of you might have seen. What do you see here? Unfortunately, there is no opportunity for us to listen to your feedback. Normally, all of us would say we see a dark dot on the paper. This is being used in many of the examples, and then in the movies also. When there is 99% of white paper around, why do you look at a black hat? But that's how we all have evolved. Even with a small difficulty, we will be able to see when there is something 99% of it is extremely good. So black hat, you don't need to give them time. So follow the yellow hat with a black hat. No time before black hat. Immediately. It's always easy for us to criticize any idea. So De Bono says very clearly, you give time for people to think and come out with positive ideas. But before black hat, there is absolutely no time. And then people come out immediately wearing the black hat. So we started with the blue hat. Then we said what the facts and figures. People express their emotions wearing a red hat. Then people expressed all the positive aspects wearing yellow hat. And then people also said what are the difficulties ahead by wearing the black hat. Now you have another hat, some innovative ideas. May not be applicable immediately. So that's the green hat. Again, some time is required for innovations. Creative innovation options need to be encouraged because this is the one which gives you a lot of advantages. So you give some more time before using the green hat for people to think and come out with innovative ideas. And finally, again, summarize with the black hat with the next steps and actions. So let me re-summarize before I go with some examples. You start with the blue hat, describing the overall agenda, and then you wear a yellow hat, giving facts and figures. And after that, you wear a red hat for people, allowing people to express their emotions. Then a yellow hat where people express all their optimism about the idea being discussed. A black hat to express all the difficulties which they are foresee in the project. And then a green hat to talk about the innovative ideas in which you can implement it. And finally, summarize with the blue hat on the next steps and actions. The advantage is everybody thinks from the same point of view. Everybody is emotional. Everybody talks with logic and reason. Everybody is extremely optimistic. Everybody talks about what is the caution which has to be taken. And everybody talks about the innovative ideas. And finally, the leader summarizes with the next steps and actions. What happens? If people don't wear the same hat at the same time, that leads to a lot of arguments. It leads to confusion. Sometimes could lead to disasters or failures also. For example, I have some very interesting examples on what happens when people wear different hats. This is a very powerful example of a husband and wife. These husband and wife always eat together on a Saturday evening since they got married. One Saturday evening, when these two people are sitting there, the wife says, "You don't spend time with me as before." The husband immediately replies, "Last 25 years, except 5 days, I have been spending my Saturdays evening only with you." What is the difficulty here? The wife is talking from an emotional point of view, while the husband is talking from a logical point of view. So when they talk, what will happen to the conversation? There is silence afterwards. There is no conversation. So this is what happens when people wear different hats. This is a very popular example of which has been described by Satya Nadella in many of his interviews and also in his book Hit Refresh. Satya Nadella, as you all know, is the CEO of Microsoft, only the non-founder CEO. His interview with Microsoft is over, and he's asking, the last question is being asked by the interviewer. He says, "Satya, you are there at the road, and you suddenly see a child falling and crying. What will you do?" Satya thinks for some time. He thinks there's a pitfall here. a child suddenly falling, you've been asked questions on all topics related to programming, and now suddenly a child comes somewhere. What will you do? Satya thinks for some time and then says, I'll call 911. This is the equivalent of an emergency call in the US. So once you call 911, an ambulance comes and picks people up. The interviewer then takes Satya out and on his way out says, taps his shoulder, young man, when you see a baby crying, you pick it up and hug, not call 911. So Satya approached the point entirely from a wide thinking hat, logical, while the interviewer expected him to think from an emotional point of view. He said, when your baby is crying, you don't call a number, but you go and pick up the baby and hug the baby and make the baby stop crying. But Satya fortunately got the job at Microsoft, and the rest, as they say, is history. This I thought I will also, my talking is not very interesting. I thought I will use some clips from a few movies. This from a popular Hindi. This is a very powerful example. You see, there are each of them is in a different hat. Initially, that guy talks about his mother, so he is in a red hat. Then Amir Khan talks about how you should pursue excellence and money will come to you automatically, success will come behind you. He's talking from a green hat, very high level of innovative, creative idea. And then Madhavan comes and says with the optimism, wearing an yellow hat, saying that no, nothing is impossible. We'll try, we'll do our best. But this guy finally puts all the paste on his hand and asks him to put it back into the capsule, wearing a black hat. So it's a very interesting story. It gives a lot of humor. But imagine this happens in a regular official discussion. There will be chaos and this thing at the end of the discussion. This is another thing. Imagine there are two very diametrically opposite hats. Amir Khan talks about very optimistically about how this girl could get a medal for India in Olympics with wearing an yellow hat, while the other person is talking about it wearing a black hat. Again, leading to disaster at the end of the discussion. So this is the way in which, if you have some more examples, maybe for want of time, I will leave them. Maybe I will share the entire presentation with Dr. Shahnaz. Maybe you can have a look at them later. I had some examples from Bollywood, which probably Dr. Shahnaz, I would request you to share with the team members so that they will be able to view the presentation in its entirety. So to sum up, gentlemen, the Six Thinking Hats is an excellent tool for meetings, very productive and consumes less time. It's easy to involve people. The most important thing is it avoids the categorization of people. You don't categorize people. This fellow is a pessimist, this fellow is a dreamer. And it also helps people to develop multiple skills over a period of time. And decision evolves by themselves. And it's extremely important now, more so in the present circumstance of where we are not able to have a physical meeting together with each other. So the overall methodology of the Six Thinking Hats is to start with blue, follow it up with white, talking about facts and figures, then allow people to express their emotions by wearing red hat, and allow people to express the positive aspects by wearing an yellow hat, black hat to describe the difficulties, and a green hat to look at the innovative options available, and then finally summarizing with the next action plan. So thank you, Dr. Shahnaz, and thank you, Professor Vaishampayan and others for giving me this opportunity. It will be my privilege to answer any questions there are. Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Are there any questions? Either from panelists or from audience participants?
For questions, please hand raise.
There are any questions, please?
Participants can raise hand also. That icon is there. Raise the hand. So right now you are muted, so you'll be unmuted. You can ask in chat box or you can raise the hand. पूछिए कोई क्वेश्चन तुम पूछो. Yeah. Any questions? Okay, sir, I have one question. Is it that while conducting any of the meeting, is it necessary to go with all 6 hats, or one we can avoid? Any one we can avoid? Is it possible?
Which one you want to avoid, ma'am?
Depending on the situation, depending on the agenda of the meeting, depending on the contents of the meeting and the audience.
Okay. If for complete discussions, you need all 6 hats. Okay. If you avoid one hat, you lose the opportunity of the decision which comes out of it. Let me give you an example. Suppose you avoid the black hat. The difficulties which come out when you implement a suggestion, that opportunity is lost. If you avoid red hat, the emotions which are expressed by the people, that gets lost. If people are not emotionally involved, the opportunity is totally lost, because many of the decisions we take based on emotions. So it is very, very, very important that you have all the 6 hats. Maybe sometimes the decision might be taken based on one hat, but you have all the 6 hats. Time for all the 6 hats, please.
Sir, but nowadays.
Yes, please.
Tomorrow unmute karo.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Online meetings, we cannot see emotions of people.
You can hear their voice.
Don't share video.
You can hear the voice, the emotions which comes out of the voice.
Yes.
Okay. But you tell them the moment you request people to express emotionally, and if you are a leader of the meeting, you express your emotions on that point of view first. Then others will follow automatically.
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you so much.
But emotion is required, sir. Emotions are very, very, very important.
So suppose if I am conducting a meeting and I know all about, let's say, all the 6 hats, I am practiced much on these particular aspects, but the other colleagues, the members of those meetings, some may be more towards red side, some may be more towards criticism kind of thing, and they may not be taking care of all the 6 hats. So then how it will be possible for a leader to reach to the conclusion or for a successful conduction of this meeting?
This is exactly what the 6 thinking hats will solve, ma'am. The moment you said somebody is always criticizing, somebody is always negative, somebody is always positive, somebody is always on the side of student, somebody is always on the side of management. This is exactly what you start with 6 thinking hats. Explain it to everybody 1 session or 2 sessions, then start slowly applying it for all your meeting. I assure you, within a year's time, the person whom you think is extremely cautious will come out with a lot of optimistic ideas in the next discussion. And more than the discussion, you will make him a better man or a better woman. The person who is always negative or cautious, whom we think he is always cautious and negative and label him as so, will turn out to be a balanced person over a period of time if you apply 6 thinking hats. Every time in the meeting, you ask him to express, you will not leave anybody without expressing their viewpoint. So the moment everybody wears an yellow hat and has to express positive aspect, he will become positive over a period of time. Maybe, but he might still be cautious. But over a period of time, the person also becomes a balanced personality. More than the decision making, I feel this categorization and improving of people substantial advantage by you adopting this method.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
I have a small query. Am I audible?
Director sir is asking. Director sir has one question. Is he audible?
Yes, please.
Very small query. I have encountered in my professional career with such persons who are always negative. I mean, you just talk them anything, they will start with a lot of negativity. And what I feel that this lot is basically those who does not want to work, basically. How to deal with such situations and such persons for the benefit of the institutions and all that?
Okay. To some extent, I'll share with you some examples. There are some people who are extremely cautious and negative, extremely cautious, because of which we brand them as negative. Okay. Over a period of time, you ask the same person to, when he wears an yellow hat, he has to express some positive views. During that time, he cannot express a negative view. That's the beauty of this, the methodology. If that person has got good intentions, what we say when somebody expresses caution is that he has got good intentions, but this is what he feels will happen. This is what he feels will happen. If you go out, you will get COVID. This is what somebody, a person who is extremely cautious says. But when you give him an opportunity to express the positive side of it, he will come out with an idea. Initially, he will find it difficult. But 1 meeting, 2 meeting, 3 meeting, 4 meeting, he will express 1 positive idea, 2 positive idea. And over a period of time, about a year, he has to necessarily participate in this meeting. When he wears an yellow hat, he has to talk positively. When he wears a white hat, he has to talk about only facts and figures. If he does all that, then over a period of time, this person himself changes, sir. He will still be cautious because that's a dominant trait of that person. But he will become a little more optimistic than what he was earlier. I have personally seen that over a period of time. Yeah.
So basically, it is the quality of the administrator to bring right thing out of him.
Beautiful point. Yeah, you are one.
Thank you, sir. So kind of you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. One more question. When we started our discussion, we started with white hat and then went up to green, blue. But is it necessary that we have to follow this particular sequence, or we can go depending upon our meetings or depending upon the audience, we can change the combination of these hats, sequence of the hats?
Yeah, you can definitely. See, this is the methodology when we start working on it. When you start working on it, see, this also has some logic, you know. See, normally in meetings, what do? We talk about facts. We talk about pros, we talk about cons, and then we talk about feelings. These are the 4 things on which we conduct any meeting: pros, cons, facts, and feelings. So exactly this also does that. But if you are adept at using the 6 thinking hats methodology over a period of time, this is a skill, ma'am. Basically, this is a skill. When you start riding a bicycle, the person who teaches you bicycle, he says you exactly right. Your back should not move. But once you start learning the bicycle and you know how to maintain the balance, whatever way your back moves, you still are able to maintain the balance. Whether you hold the handlebar or not, your bicycle is still on the road. So initially, when you start working on 6 thinking hats, you use this methodology. But once you are adept at it, then you can change marginally, perhaps. You have to start with blue and you have to end with blue. Okay. This is a logic to that. You start with blue, you end with blue. You have white to talk of facts and figures. Maybe in between, you can have red again. If there are more emotional points involved, you can bring back red again. But that Edward de Bono says you do it over a period of time. But this is the methodology with which you start in the beginning. When you don't know how to do, you start like this. When somebody teaches you a bicycle, you have to keep your back erect. Don't hold the handlebar tight. But once you learn the bicycle and ride it with ease, then whatever comes to you, it's fine.
Thank you, sir. Absolutely right, sir. Any more questions from my audience? I think in chat box, there are lots of appreciations. Wonderful session, wonderful session. Lot many appreciations are there instead of questions. Almost 99 appreciations are there in chat box. Any more questions? Otherwise, we will move. Any questions to Kharwadkar sir? Participants can ask questions to Kharwadkar sir also, and if any questions are there to Kharwadkar sir or to Venkatagiri sir. I think, sir, it was a nice session. Speakers who talk about what life has taught them never fail to keep the attention of their listeners. One thank the people who made an impact in their life, and you are one of them, sir. Thank you very much for wonderful session on SATs, and definitely if we implement it, it would be benefited. The feedback link is shared in the chat box. I request all the participants and all the dignitaries also, if possible, to please fill up this, which will help us improving in future sessions. I request the participants to take care of
spelling the name and email IDs to ease the process of e-certification.
Moving ahead, we are now at the end of this session, and I request Dr. Atul Kumar Dwivedi, colleague of mine from Electronics and Communication Engineering Department, who also worked tirelessly with me in organizing this webinar. I request him to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of head of the department, as he is not able to join this meeting. Dr. Atul Kumar.
Thank you so much, madam, for giving me the opportunity. First of all, I would like to thank Honorable Director, Professor V.K. Tyagi, BIT Jhansi, for continuously motivating us to organize such events in BIT, and SPIU Uttar Pradesh for accepting the Ms. Cordnis jointly organizing this event. I thank webinar coordinator Dr. Sana Ryu for continuously working and organizing the event and coordinating with the all people. I thank Dr. Anil Kumar, advisor, SPIU UP, chief guest, Professor Vesampine, Honorable Vice Chancellor, SPIU UP, Honorable Vice Chancellor, SPIU UP, sorry, and Vineet Sarana, Nodal Officer, SPIU UP. This was a very nice session there by Engineer P.A. Kharwadkar, Managing Director, Corona Plus Industries Limited, Kanpur. He has given very practical examples and how to manage things and what are the qualities to be developed in the human to deal with the adverse situations of life. A very nice technical talk by Dr. Engineer K.S. Venkatagiri, Executive Director, Confederation of Indian Industry. He has given 6 thinking hats for effective decision-making tools during the COVID-19 and other meetings in general. So, and this is to be kept in mind always while conducting meeting. So I really got very inspired by this properly managed and talk by him. A lot of thanks for everyone who have directly or indirectly cooperated in this program. I thank all participants who have given so nice responses in chat box of this program. All attendees from different parts of the country. A lot of thanks to all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will end the meeting.